Welcome back to the Safeties Off Podcast.
Oh, yeah, new name.
Yeah, I realized that calling it a show probably wasn't going to be great for the YouTube analytics, the search engine, and all that good stuff, so we changed it.
Tyler's life goal is to unlock the secrets of the algorithm.
Basically, because we've got some videos that do really well and then some that are garbage. Mm-hmm. And spoiler alert, they're basically all the same. So, yeah, I had to change everything. Like I didn't change some of the thumbnails on YouTube, change the album art, blah, blah, blah. That's boring to most of you. About 99% of you, I know. So we'll start off. Let's get to our sponsors. Dirty Duck. Years ago, a passion was built around the waterfowl.
Wild pursuit of waterfowl.
Now it's an apparel coffee brand. Go check it out. Dirty Duck Coffee. They just got done hunting with Pit Boss waterfowl out in Maryland, doing some sea duck fishing. It's pretty cool. Use promo code KCO15 at checkout. Our next sponsor, Tide Wee. I've hunted out of my Tide Wee blind in my chair a few times this year. Maybe I'll use it for some turkeys in the spring. That'd be pretty cool. Check out Tide Wee. Use promo code KCO18. Then also HuntWise. I use HuntWise all the time. I don't know how I couldn't use it before, and I think you could use it a lot. And what we're talking about today, we're going to talk about, we'll get to that in a second. I think you could use that for basically any type of hunting. HuntWise, check it out. Use promo code KCO20. And then TripTech, the best of all, TripTech. You got to have one of these bad boys on your lanyard. TripTech 5-in-1 multi-tool. Use it as a punch. What?
He says the 5-in-1. That's
I can't. Don't make me count. 5-in-1. It's a punch. You can use it to score upland birds. It's a finisher. There's another thing on here that's just for upland birds too. Oh, and then you can use it to take apart your shotgun. That little.
Yep.
Little round part right there. So, boom. Basically the 5-in-1.
Choke tube.
Thank you. Yeah. That might be 6. Yeah. Did we find 6?
We might have.
Did we just unlock the TripTech?
We did.
We might have. So, yeah.
TripTech hack.
This episode, who knows how it's going to go, but yeah, enjoy.
Bro, I almost coughed out.
You got that heater on full blast. You got all the windows down, and you're just...
You're such a idiot.
So we're entering into the last couple of weekends of deer season. You're looking at me funny because I know what you want me to start talking about. You want me to just lay it all out there, but I'm not.
I want to go to the mall, son.
I'm gonna keep it civil. Civil indeed, as we both take sips. It's been a long deer season for both of us.
Anybody wondering?
Yeah, it's been a long deer season for us both. I've only killed one. Jordan has been unlucky, but killed way more ducks than me.
I haven't hunted anything in the last 3 weeks.
Yeah. It's been tough. And it's tough too when you're a dad, new dad, me. You travel, it's different stuff going on. We hunt as much as we can, but we're still a weekend warrior. So, I mean, you got to think out of a 3-month season, you might get, 15, 20 good hunts?
It depends. I mean, last year I hunted way more than I did this year. I underestimated the amount of work the hunting public would be.
Yeah.
And after, I always associate it with the split. I know there's not a split in deer season, but pretty much like the whole first split of duck season, like that time,
no.
I was hunting my butt off ducks and deer, and I was so exhausted by Christmas that I just
kind of get burnt out a little bit.
Got burnt out.
It gets
tough.
Did.
And the weather's been kind of bad too, but
it was chilly today. But let's get to our topic that I want to bring up today.
Hot topic.
Hot topic.
Get your hot topics here.
And it's really like so we're going to talk about running dogs. I'm just going to go ahead and say that. Running dogs for deer, for whitetail. Pros and cons. Should you do it? Should you not do it? Or should you just be lukewarm to it? This is like an age-old debate. Mm-hmm. And it's an age-old debate, I know, and we all know, because there's only a few states that still allow it. Those states being Florida, Virginia, Mississippi, Arkansas, Alabama, Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, and the greatest state in the world.
I'm so impressed you came up with that on the fly.
Louisiana. On the fly. This computer is off. I just like to look at myself in the reflection. So there's only 8 states. Did I name 8? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so 9. And then you can hunt them in Hawaii and Alaska, but there are no whitetails in Hawaii, so I'm not sure why that's a thing.
Yeah, what did Stephen Ranella go over there and hunt? Wasn't whitetail. They had something.
In Guam, they have deer, but they're not whitetail, obviously. They're like grew deer. I don't know. That's another topic. But running dogs. Have I done it? Yes. Do I enjoy it? It gets the adrenaline pumping. But there are a lot of pros and there are a lot of cons. And I don't want this podcast to make it seem like I'm just going to sit here and bash the dog hunter because I use a dog with squirrel or rabbits, which I think are two totally different things. Than
Squirrels
whitetail.
and rabbits are two very
They
different
are
things.
very different things. But hunting squirrel and rabbit with a dog versus hunting a deer are totally different.
Mm-hmm.
And the way I kind of justify that thought is that whitetail, they're going to live within. I mean, they may travel a mile and a half. Correct.
Yeah. I mean,
Living right.
Yeah.
If a rabbit travels a mile, be pretty wild. Like they've got like dens and stuff, and like they have patterns and that are more, I don't know. You can just, what am I trying to say here? Like you can just, it's not going to take you as much ground to hunt a squirrel as it would a deer.
Typically, right.
Right. So that's my big thing. Just right off the bat, I mean, pros to running dogs, it's a lot of fun. It's exciting. It's a group activity. It is the closest thing that whitetail deer will ever get to duck hunting is running dogs. Mm-hmm. Correct? Like that sense of
anything I say is going to be an ignorance. I have never run dogs.
Really?
Not for deer.
Really?
For squirrels and rabbits, yeah, but never for deer.
Man, I did
everybody that I have grown up hunting with is hyper anti dog hunters.
Really?
Mm-hmm. So again, I was raised to like just think that it was awful. I know nothing about it really. I mean, I know what it is. But,
right.
But I've never done it, so I can't even speak to it.
Man, I did it. I've done it a few times in high school and middle school, and here you go. I'm a middle school kid. I'm given a shotgun. Here's a 12 gauge, son. Have a good old time. Here's some slugs. Sit right here, and maybe in a little bit the dogs will run by and you can shoot the deer. I didn't get to run with the dogs. I didn't get to like ride around on the 4-wheeler, find them, like listen for them. I just got given a lane, and I got a shot at one and smooth missed. So there's kind of a con is that the ethical shot, it's not there.
No,
it's not there at all.
No, that's like that reel we posted where the guy.
Correct. Not an ethical shot.
No.
Now, I asked before, so if you don't know what we're talking about, you can go. We have an Instagram reel that you have to like click that you want to see sensitive content. It's actually not us. It's one of my buddies and his friends when they were in college. They shoot a doe, and it just takes off running at them. And this kid just no-scopes them like on Call of Duty. And luckily, it was a fatal shot.
Mm-hmm.
Like instantly fatal.
Mm-hmm.
And deer rolls up, and they're just like, what just happened? Like, yes, completely... Like not an ethical shot by any means, but that is the shot you get running dogs, and arguably that's way better of a shot than when running dogs because you can't get that close to them.
No, I mean you're taking anything I say is out of ignorance. I would assume you're taking a 40-yard running shot with a slug.
You're trying to. You're like leading a deer, which is not great.
No,
and we sit here in previous podcasts and we talk about sighting in our guns and shooting with a bow and becoming confident with your whatever weapon you choose so that you do take a fatal shot so that the deer doesn't suffer, as much as it could if you shot it in the shoulder or, somewhere else that may make, susceptible to illness or disease or, whatever type of infection and die a slow death. You don't want that.
I talk about hunting ethics almost every episode. So this is just one more reason for me to not be on board.
Yeah. So
I'm not trying to. I don't want to offend anybody that's growing up doing it. I'm not saying that it's just not for me.
Right. There's and like that's my thing is so I teach hunter's ed and I start my first class on Monday. I teach it at the school, which is a super cool opportunity to teach in a public school. Hunter's ed. That is like 30 minutes of my day. I get to teach hunter ed every day.
That's pretty cool.
So I just sit around and talk hunting with a bunch of 13-year-olds, which sounds miserable, but it's actually pretty
no,
cool.
it's pretty cool. Yeah.
So this would be a question I ask them, is do you run dogs and this and that? I can't wait to hear what they say. So, but one thing I talk about them is the negative perception of hunting, not from anti-hunters, because anti-hunters, I feel like for the most part, sometimes just can't even be swayed. Like they're just out there.
Yeah,
in their
they're,
wild.
Yeah, they're in La La Land. They don't
Yeah.
even, they have no arguments because they don't even know what hunting is. They don't,
Right.
they don't consider hunting conservation because they know nothing about what they're talking about. Which is why I'm trying not to speak to the dog thing.
No,
Like, 'cause I
well, I
don't
mean,
wanna be
like
that
you can agree or disagree. Like I mean, you have your own opinion. That's gonna be great, and I can't wait till after I read some things that you can have your own opinion. You're gonna go. You're not gonna go. So
I always have an opinion.
I love that.
Just shouldn't always
That's,
be shared.
that's why we do this show together.
That's true.
But yeah, so it kind of gives off this negative perception of hunting to a non-hunter.
Mhm.
You know, and hunters again already have a negative mindset toward it. You know, just like if you kill a big buck and you hang it from the hood of your car.
Right.
You know, you put it on the top of your car. It's like, if you got to do it, okay. Like if that's all the means you have, if you have a Honda Civic, you really want to get into hunting and you can't fit it in the trunk.
That used to be part of the hunter safety.
It is
The hunter's
yeah.
ed video. Yeah, I
that's,
remember
that's
that.
what we talk about.
It's probably the same videos that we had.
Well, we don't
30
watch the
years
video.
ago.
I just like talking, so we just talk.
Oh,
We
the
read,
videos
talk.
are great.
I just like talking to them.
Is it the same videos that we had?
I have a
20
lot
years
of
ago?
VHS, yes, that I've gotten a bag.
I remember. Okay, we're gonna go down a rabbit trail.
Go ahead.
I remember one where the dude leaves his friends. They're in the desert. I don't know why this is in Hunter's Ed, but they're in the desert and they're all lost and their car breaks down or something. I don't know. And two of them take off walking through the middle of the desert like, we're going to go find help. And the one guy stays still and pulls the mirror off the visor and like flags down the plane and he gets saved. And the other two die in the desert.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, it was
Who
like-
taught you hunters?
It was like, I don't remember what I guess that was the lesson. Stay with your vehicle. Which I guess makes sense. It's a big thing for a plane to find.
I guess. Wow, let's get
Oh.
this going back the other way.
Yeah, dude. They were all like that. Dude carrying his gun over the fence and
Yeah.
shoots himself, that one. And
yeah.
the dude dressed like a deer gets shot.
Yeah, this is awful. So we do in Hunters Ed, to stare back on this path, we do talk about negative perceptions of hunting. And then, there's different things. Like the big deal is there's a landowner in Mississippi that just sued the hunters and won because he proved that his cattle were losing weight due to the dogs running them. So they'd be running deer. They run a deer on the property. The dogs would get on this, in amongst the cattle. Cattle would run around, go nuts. He somehow, which I don't know how you do this.
Weighing his cows every day?
You would have to every day. He somehow sued the dog owners in the hunting club and got a bunch of money. I think that's the same. I tried to do some research beforehand, and that's that's all I could really find. I just keep hearing word of this landowner that has won in a case, but I guess you have to have cattle. So
He must have had a lawyer buddy that said, "Okay, here's what you do.
yeah, exactly, and
Get
a
you
lot of money.
Get you some scales
Yeah.
and make
Yep.
this a thing."
Yeah, had enough money and was that mad at the hunters.
Mm-hmm.
The other big thing is, I think I have a solution to this, like legitimately. So this is the same thing we've done my entire life. I've been hunting, so of dog hunters, and then what happens. They let them off on their lease, and they run off into other people's property,
Mm-hmm.
and they run the deer off of other people's property onto other people's, and yada yada yada, and you just kind of like you possibly mix up the habitat of deer. A deer that's on your property in October may or may not be there because he may get ran off and find a new home somewhere else because he gets chased 2 miles, by a pack of dogs.
Mm-hmm. Especially if you have them right next to your property where they're constantly running
Correct.
deer off.
And I'm sure people could argue that your spot's a sanctuary, basically. Like, to that, I would say no way, because
In what sense? If somebody
like the deer know that if they get over there, they can hide well enough. The dogs may not come here,
the dogs are going to go there. The
Yeah.
hunters may not go there,
Yeah,
but the
you're
dogs
right.
are going to go
Yeah,
there.
the dogs are going to go there. The dog. That's
deer don't know property lines.
That's exactly, and the dogs
Neither
don't
do the
either.
dogs,
That's
yeah.
what people say is that
Yeah.
dog can't read posted signs.
Right.
Well, hunters can. So, and then too, like in Louisiana, trespassing is only like a $75 or $100 fine.
Mm-hmm.
So if somebody just wants to go on your land, if you can't prove that they killed anything, if they've got their gun or whatever, it's like $100. And so I had somebody tell me once, to a criminal or to an outlaw or what outlaw hunter, a trespassing fee is just a really cheap lease fee. Because it's like only you have to have so many of them before they actually like count to like, I don't know, like a day in jail or a bigger fine or whatever it is.
I assumed it was one.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like I assumed that your second one was It went
I'd have
from
to
like
look into
100
it.
to 1,000.
I should have looked into
It
that.
should.
Yeah, it should be. No, I 100% agree. There should be. Surely it is.
Because anybody can do it once.
Yeah, we're speaking kind of ignorant on that. Yeah. You may it could happen one time. Like you could just be walking. Like some property we have doesn't have.
I can tell you right now, I
landlines.
probably have done it this year by accident because some
On
of the
public?
the public, not all the public's got fences. You know, if you're not, in fact, I know scouting I did because I happened to turn around and one of these signs. Oh, we didn't talk about that.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. We'll bring that up.
It is legal for me to have this before anybody says anything. Tyler was too scared to have it on
Yeah,
his side.
if you're listening, we have a picture of a wildlife management area sign, and I made it stick it on Jordan's side because I just feel like we've wronged.
His uncle's a game warden. He didn't want to be associated with it.
It's exactly right.
I found the sign, so it is my legal property.
Yes, dude, and we have that on recording. But so you run the deer onto other people's stuff. You got to get your dogs off other people's property. Yada yada yada. I think there's one way to combat that is you make that if you're running dogs or you're like in the act of running dogs, you have to have a dog hunting license. The way you acquire this dog hunting license is you prove that you have ownership of some amount of continuous acreage, or you have leased some amount of acreage. So like a certain tract that might be, say I got 100 acres. That's not enough to run a dog on. But if I've got 4,000 acres that I have leased from,
So a minimum
acreage
amount.
a minimum acreage amount. Like I have to have some amount, I don't know, greater than like 3,000, which I understand. Like if I let them off at the line, they may just take off and run the other way.
Mm-hmm.
They may cross the street and go to the other property. I understand that's I understand that. But any ethical guy that it has 4,000 acres, which I know is hard to come by, drop them off in the middle. There we go. And then you've got trucks at every line.
And none of them are going to
people
do
at
it on
every
their own
line.
property, though.
Correct. Yeah.
They don't want to run the deer out of their property.
Yeah. That's a great point.
They want to run them off your property onto their property.
Yeah, that's a great point. It's a great point. It kind of sucks. It's like I'm
100% against it. Again,
Yeah.
I'm sorry to anybody that listen. Tell me in the comments. Again, I know nothing. I've never done it. I'm sure it's a blast. I just do not consider it hunting, and I think it's awful for the deer population and for real hunters.
I forgot to go live on Instagram, but great to get people's feedback on that. But I would love
to be mad.
Yeah, I know. I would love to hear people's feedback on it, just because it's something that's going on forever, and it is also something that some of the bigger names in the industry are pretty against. Like some of the bigger.
I don't know any still hunter who would not be against it.
Yeah, because that's the thing. If
How could you not?
My point of view,
it's the exact opposite of everything that we're trying to do.
Yeah, my point of view is you have an area, you make the land how you want it. You get certain plots and you plant certain things. You go through all this work in July and August for it to grow in September, October. Money, blah blah blah. This stuff blooms, you're fired up, you've got pictures of deer and this and that, and you hunt real hard, and then December 8th comes or whatever that date is, and all that work goes to nothing, and deer are running by you, and like, let's say you're just hunting with a bow, you don't even have a gun, dogs are running, I'm not shooting a deer running with a bow.
No.
Like my goal this year was to hunt and kill one with a bow. Looks like I'm going to fail. I still got one weekend left that I can go. But if I know people are running dogs, it's almost like got to bring a gun. You can bring both, I guess, but you got to bring a gun.
Well, the odds of you seeing one in bow range if they're running dogs are slim to none. They're going to be so on edge even if they're not running.
1,000% agree with that.
I can speak to that from experience. They used to run dogs around our lease. A couple of the leases around used to run them. They never came on our property. I guess they were too scared
and the deer
to let
just
them go
sit.
that way. But you don't see deer that day.
Yeah, that's what I was telling Travis, who's going to be on the next show, I think, big time. I was telling Travis.
About time. We have been talking crap
Yeah.
about him not coming on here
We
for
have. A long time.
a year.
But I was telling him, I was like, it kind of makes sense as to why somebody would get pictures of deer all week long, and you've basically patterned them. They come here at this time, blah, blah, blah. It's this many deer. And on the weekend, you get nothing. Because that's when people would most likely run dogs. and then Monday you get them again. You know, or maybe you get different deer or whatever. Yeah, I just have so many mixed emotions. Like, I don't want to take anything from anybody that would enjoy it, but then also I don't want to take away anything from anybody who's worked their butt off to kill a deer, who's patterned a deer only for old Yeller to run them off the property or to run you another deer onto your property. I don't know.
That's somebody else spent all the time and money, and
right.
You know, I mean, you're feeding protein to these deer all year. I mean, you're doing everything but polishing their horns for them.
Yeah,
you know. I mean,
look at this moth.
We have been battling moths all night.
But no, you're right. I mean, you're trying to build deer, and then people run dogs against it, and it's becoming less and less of a thing. Honestly, it's not as popular, I feel like, as it used to be.
Go to the backwood towns where they've done it for generations.
Yeah,
I mean, it's still.
And I've grown up. I mean, like I said, I've done it, and I feel like when we did it though, it was ethical. It was in the most ethical it could possibly be, not the shooting and stuff like that, but as far as being a hindrance to those people that own land around us, it was the most ethical, you know. But there's just so many different even up north, they've outlawed in some states running hounds for bears. That's a huge thing, is killing bears with dogs.
I did not know that.
What? Man, you never watched the video? It's pretty cool.
I guess I have.
You've probably seen a video of it. Just these hounds going
don't ever
nuts
think
on
about
black
that.
bears. Yeah, and they're climbed up in the tree.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same thing, everything else, you know. But it's so much easier for a hunter to justify that with a bear, or at least it used to be. I heard an interesting take on it. Is they were able to keep that legal for so long because people were able to justify it, because a bear, as I swatted this moth, you can use more of a bear than you can a deer. You obviously eat the meat. You can use whatever, the hide for this, the eyes for that, like the
fat,
Indians. Yeah, the fat for this, bear fat, all kinds of craziness. Than you can a deer, which you may use the hide, but it's not a very thick hide, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, we're not making deer skin.
Right.
Well, they make gloves out of them.
But I mean, early, I don't know, 1800s or so, when they're killing bears, like, wouldn't be, wild to see somebody with a bear rug or a bear.
I would love
some
to have
type
a bear
of,
rug.
yeah, that'd be sick.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
That's the next addition to
is a huge
to the
bear
wall.
rug. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of speaking ignorant to that tonight, to dog hunting somewhat, which is fine. We speak to everything ignorant here. I mean, there's not a whole lot. We're just the average Joe.
Again, I have an opinion about everything.
Yeah, exactly. This is average hunting for the average man. Average takes for the average hunter.
With average knowledge base.
And average knowledge and production. I'm not going to sit here and say like it should be illegal, it should be this, because I would like to hear somebody argue against me.
I'll say that. No, I'll have a hot take. I think it should be legal.
Oh.
I see no benefit to anybody other than the three guys drinking Natty Light and holding their shotguns. That was very stereotypical, but I mean, I just have such a negative mindset about it, and I always have. I've been kind of holding back. I mean, I've been grown up. I have been raised up to hate the idea. Not dog hunters. I don't know any dog hunters,
right.
But the idea of dog hunting to me is just.
Yeah, because I know people that don't do that. They can do it well, and they have like thousands of acres. They have, it's like
I said it was gonna be a hot take.
It is. Hey, that's a great hot take. That's good. I love that.
So counter me. I mean, I'm not. Tell me I'm an idiot. Tell me why. We'll talk about it next episode. We'll have you on. We'll get you on Instagram Live, and we'll.
Ooh, I love that.
Duke it out. But
I love that.
I don't see my mind being changed, because I am all about the challenge. That's why I bow hunt.
Yeah.
And B, the ethics. And you lose 100% lose both of those with dogs.
And you know what states I didn't say there are the ones with the best deer hunting. Iowa,
Imagine that.
Kansas, Ohio,
We're also bow
Wisconsin.
only most of the time.
Most of them are bow only. So if people are going to say how are you going to kill them? They're overpopulated.
We can fix it that way. Forget saying running dogs is illegal. Just say we're bow only.
And that's what Justin said it the other day in a text message or something like that. I said, no, it wasn't Justin. It was Very Serious Hunting. Sorry, shout out Very Serious Hunting Instagram. They're ice fishing right now. But I said something. I said, well, he said, how's the year going or something like that. I said, I've only killed one. He said, lucky you, we get one tag. I was like, dang, I never even thought about it like that. I can kill 6 in Louisiana.
we have I think I talked about it last week. We have a massive herd.
Yeah.
We just have a ton of hunters, so we feel like we have a ton of hunters, and we have very locked down land.
Yeah.
Like limited public access. No, we have a lot of public land, but it's huge WMAs. It's not these little walk-in pockets like you get in Kansas, So, I mean, you're very limited to either you have family land or a lease that you've been on for 20 years,
right?
Or you're hunting public. There's not a whole lot of in between.
Yep. No, you're
so it makes you feel like we have a lot fewer deer than we actually have.
Yeah. So
which is why people run dogs off other people's property so they can shoot them.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts. So that's kind of our takes on it. Again, last time I'll say it, but I would love to hear somebody else's take on it. Somebody that is pro running dogs. I'm not going to sit here and say that my way's right until
I'll let you say that. I'm going to say my way's right.
I love that. Because he's saying his way is right. I just like to hear somebody else
with ethics in mind. I don't see how you could argue. I challenge somebody to tell me how you can ethically hunt with dogs.
All right. So speaking of ethically, last week
as far as taking the shot,
right? Last week we barely touched on it for like half a second. Poisonous arrows, poisonous broadheads.
Because you can do it that way. Poisonous shotgun slugs.
Poisonous shotgun slugs. So, man, I posted that. There are a lot of people that watch our Instagram reels or follow us on Instagram. Thousands of people that don't listen to the podcast.
Tens of thousands.
Tens of thousands. 10,000.
10,000.
That don't listen to the podcast. However, they watch Instagram reels. And, an Instagram reel, it's nothing for it to get a few thousand views or whatever. So the one I posted about poisonous.
28,000. Hey.
Yeah, with your sicka boy. I posted one that talked about poisonous arrows or poisonous broadheads. And, man, people were blowing up the DMs. They were commenting. I got some DMs that weren't man enough to comment, which is fine. I get it. You don't want to put your naysayer out there for everybody. You just want little.
You don't want to go on a podcast and say dog hunters drink 90 Light and suck.
Yeah. I mean, they wanted to talk to me like about it, I guess. Or rack my little pea brain on it. But there were a lot of people saying like, "Can you even eat it?" Like, whoa, dude, I was clearly joking. Like in the thing, I even talk about, I'm going to name this. Riley says that you can kill deer, or children can kill deer with poisonous broadhead.
If they don't listen to the podcast, half of what we say is ironic or
stupid. Lighthearted.
That's a great word.
Yeah, that's how we were described by someone the other day to me.
We were.
Yeah, so
like that.
Yeah, lighthearted for sure. And this being one of our more serious podcasts, not condoning poisonous broadheads.
No. What we said. Well, I was about to repeat what we said in the podcast. We're on the podcast, so if they didn't listen to that one, they're not going to listen to this one. But yeah, what we said was, what did we say? We said that
we're just asking about it. I didn't know it was a thing.
Yeah, we argued both sides for about 10 seconds.
Yeah,
but we said arguably, it's more ethical because if you make a bad shot, it's still going to kill the animal. They're not going to walk around wounded.
Right.
But on the flip side of that, you're going to be a lot more tempted to take an unethical shot. Shoot it in the butt; it's going to die anyway.
Yeah.
So none of us are. None of us are for poison.
Nobody's. I mean, even like I'd have to bring it up, and I hate that I'm just pulling it out of my bub right now. But at one point, Fred Bear was pro poisonous broadhead. Fred Bear.
I've heard arguments from bear hunters actually about it, especially with a bear, because
might come back at you, brother. Yeah, you gotta whip out the sidearm, or you can just shoot a poisonous dart at it.
Or if you could.
And also, okay, here's a real big con. 180-pound deer versus a 85-pound deer. It's going to take a little bit more poison to get the 180 than the 85. So let's say like you just not, didn't have enough poison for that one. And, like something like that's a real thing, because I know that there are people that are, poachers or whatever that will look into that. Like that's pretty nuts.
Well, I'm sure there's ways you could do it where you could still eat the meat, but it's probably going to be something where it like congeals the blood. Yeah. So are you going to want to mess with it?
Yeah, so we're not condoning that.
No.
We're not condoning that.
I can promise you I would never. If they legalized it today.
And then I also wouldn't eat it.
No.
I have common sense. I'm not going to eat it. Although I'll eat McDonald's and all that crap that's pumped steroids into all day long.
Yeah. I'll eat most things. I've eaten coon. I've not eaten possum.
You've eaten. What?
It wasn't terrible. Now you know what you're eating, so it kind of...
You're eating what you've already eaten. You're eating a bunch of scraps.
Not if it's in the woods. I didn't eat a dumpster coon.
Did you kill it?
Yeah. I trapped it.
Tell me more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So at the feed store I used to work at, the guys that worked in the back they'd have cookouts all the time, and it was a very separate. Like they had their clan back there. We had the up front store clan.
Yeah.
We didn't really. It's a whole two different groups of people. But every now and then they'd be like, "Hey, let's have one big family cookout." And so they loved me, and so they'd have me back there. They're like, "All right, you're gonna try pickled pig's feet," which I'd already tried.
Yeah.
Not a fan. But that turkey necks, bunch of stuff that we don't usually eat. I'm trying to think of what else. Gizzards. I don't like gizzards.
I like gizzards.
Not a gizzards guy.
I can eat a thing of gizzards for a gizzards boy.
But yeah, I had I was heavy into the trapping at the time, beaver trapping mostly. And if anybody traps, you'll know. But I mean, when you're running conibears dry land, which is a square frame trap that they go through the middle of, if you're running them dry land, you're gonna catch coons. Like there's no way around it. And every time I catch them, I bring it up to those guys in the back because they loved them. Mm-hmm. And I had just caught one, so they're like, "Hey man, here's that coon you brought us. You gonna eat it?" I'm like, "Man, I'll try."
How do they cook it? They fried it or what?
No, I think it was barbecue. So it's a pain in the butt too. Apparently, you got to
blowing my mind that you tried it.
You got to cut out some glands and stuff before you can eat it.
Okay.
Yeah,
that sounds sketchy.
They got glands like in their armpits or something that makes it'll taint the meat. Like taste wise, not gonna kill you, but like it tastes nasty. I don't know. There's a whole thing.
It's a whole new world.
Whole new world, dazzling place. I never knew.
You've ever eaten carp?
Mm-hmm. I like carp.
You know the best way to cook carp, you take it, fillet it, and put it on a piece of foil, and you get a little like olive oil underneath it or whatever, so it don't stick. And then I've got some seam seasoning, get some garlic, and then you take cherries, and you crush some cherries, put it over the top. Yes, you put it in the smoker, 2.5 hours. Take it out, throw that in the trash, crumple the tin up, throw that in the trash. You're done.
So before you said that, because you finally convinced me you were serious, and I was literally about to say, I was waiting for you to just say, and then throw it in the trash, and then you said it. Yeah, it's not good.
You don't eat carp.
No, it's not good.
I've had alligator gar balls, which I don't understand why you ball the meat up, but you ball it up.
That's always the thing, gar balls. Yeah,
it's just tough.
It's not good. Gator's not that good. It's a thing, like everybody's like, you gotta go to Louisiana and eat the gators, but it's
just
gristly,
tough chicken,
man.
Yeah, it's tough chicken.
Gristly and greasy, and if you don't cook it all the way, you're gonna die from Lord knows what kind of bacteria was in that thing. I mean,
maybe that's what's wrong with me.
It's a lizard,
It's a dinosaur.
Yeah,
still roams the earth.
I mean,
we act cool. We act like that's okay.
There's a thing out there. We don't eat cold-blooded animals. Like we don't eat iguanas and stuff. Typically, so like I don't know, they just carry different kind of stuff.
We just
I eat it
walking out here with them, legit dinosaurs, and we're just acting like it's okay.
They just don't bother me.
What if that weirdest thing? What if an alligator could fly? All right, this is getting way off the rails. What if an alligator could fly? Would you then be freaked out?
I mean, I guess we'd be used to it, but
I'd be freaked out even more.
Where did that come from?
I'm just thinking, like, what makes an alligator okay? Like, why are we not freaking out? Why are we not?
It's because they stay in water, so we're like, yeah. I mean, they don't.
Like a Komodo dragon. Like a Komodo dragon. Komodo dragons are. See,
those freak me out more.
But they're on one island. But you're right. But they're on one island.
Well, though that breed is there's
the
big,
one that kills you.
There's monitor lizards all over the place.
Yeah, but the one Komodo dragon I'm talking about is like when it bites you, it puts poison. It's like a snake.
Yeah.
But it's 4-legged. It's freaking nuts.
I thought
we freak out about those. Anyways, they got way off. Yeah.
I thought it was just that the spit was. I thought your laptop was off.
I just turned my laptop on to
I thought the spit would just
here we go. That's a top question.
Kill you from the bacteria in it.
Komodo dragons or Komodo monitors are the largest, heaviest lizards in the world. Fact. I saw it on Google. And one of the few with a venomous bite. These stealthy, powerful hunters rely on their sense of smell to detect food using their long forked tongues to sample the air. I don't know. I've gotten way too deep to this. Yeah, apparently they they're on one island. You heard about there's that story of the people that wrecked their ship and they floated for like ever and they saw land. They swam to the land and it was the one dragon that the Komodo dragons are on. And they all lived though. They all lived. So they lived in shark infested waters.
Oh, there's all kind of stuff at the Galapagos, man.
Then they got to land and they were like, all right, we're gonna have to fight Komodo dragons for like days until somebody finds us. What a turn of events. And what a turn of this podcast. We're on minute 30.
and they freaking swim there too. The dragons do. I mean, you can't get away from them. I don't think there's trees on the island.
We live in a world where there's dragons and then there's alligators.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty nuts. And we live in that state. But you know what I am excited for? This could be the last thing we talk about. We're almost to 40 minutes. I'm excited for bow fishing.
Oh, yes, sir.
You've never been.
I have not. I can't wait.
And it is, I haven't gone in a few years.
I'm already a very, very average shot. I can't wait to shoot at
it's going to be awful.
At a fish.
It's going to be bad. It's going to be bad. And we'll film the whole thing because that's something it's kind of easily filmable, I guess. Like, because, I mean, somebody can work the trolling motor, somebody can be shooting, and somebody can be filming. 3 dudes, boom, done.
God, that means we're going to have to rely on Travis to go, though.
That's very true. I let Jacob go one time when I had my boat, and the way I worked my old boat, I could stand on the front deck, I could work the trolling motor and shoot. We had 2 shooters back then. Another buddy had a setup. And I let Jacob drive the boat for about 37 seconds. I said, before I let him do it, before I let him work the trolling motor, I said, Jacob, lights are on the left. That's where we're shooting a fish. But the boat goes straight. Don't run my trolling motor over anything because the trolling motor hangs over a little bit over the front right. And I'm not exaggerating. Maybe 30 seconds, a minute. And not just broke the trolling motor. It broke it. It hit something so hard. It pulled the self-tapping screws out of the boat, and the trolling motor goes in the water. We had to catch it by the wires or whatever.
So it's just swimming.
Yeah, we had to cut it off. Jacob had one, and then we're done. We're done boat fishing because we got no trolling motor. I think we paddled for a little bit just with the lights, and it was pretty fun, but it's way harder. Not worth the work because you can't shoot game fish. You can't shoot bass or shoot perch or whatever.
Right.
You're just shooting. Catfish is the thing you want to shoot because you need it. But carp's fun, alligator gar, jackfish, all that stuff's fun just because they're kind of a nuisance.
I'd love to shoot a big old gar. You want to talk about it? We don't talk
That's an
about
alien.
that. That is a strange animal.
Yeah, so we just really don't have it.
People who are listening from up north or wherever, if you don't know, go look up alligator gar. They
get ginormous.
They are huge. I have personally seen, I don't even know. I can't even gauge the number of feet that this fish was, but it was as big as a boat. I can tell you that. Freaking huge.
It was ginormous. Or they can get ginormous.
They can't get, yeah. I mean, they all do if they live long enough, but yeah,
they're scary.
They're terrifying.
Yeah.
That's what we swim with.
No, that's what you swim with.
I
don't
with
swim.
Our little toes in the water.
Nope, don't swim in Louisiana waters. Won't do it.
I don't anymore.
No, can't talk.
They stink. They're hot.
Nope.
They got that swimming around.
Nope.
Snakes.
See,
I'm more scared of snakes.
The snakes are more aggressive. You never hear somebody getting bit by an alligator gar.
Or an alligator, hardly. That's why the gators don't bother me. I've stepped
Knock on wood.
I've told the story. I've stepped on them.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying I don't get freaked out if I think there's gators and I'm walking around, but 9 times out of 10 they're swimming the other way if they know you're coming. Unless it's a
and there's the one picture that goes viral every teal season. Every single teal season this goes viral.
Oh, the one with a deer in its mouth?
No. It's somebody throwing out the blue wing decoys. It's just a picture. So it's got blue wing decoys in the spread or whatever. And then it's got a gator. You can barely see a gator through the mud.
Oh, yeah. I have seen that.
Every single. I mean, the picture is taken on an iPhone.
That scares me.
Not an iPhone 14, an iPhone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty nuts.
Well, that's exactly where how the one I stepped on was.
No, it's no shocker that this podcast and this group of friends, Sans Jordan, we started hunting on Kepler Creek.
Oh,
or not
yeah.
Kepler Creek, but Kepler Lake.
Yeah, I was
Creek.
adopted.
Right. Kepler Creek feeds into Kepler Lake, a la the name. That's where we started duck hunting together. And I grew up in Castor right there next to Kepler, and I got in so much trouble as a kid. Kepler is known for its gators. And just known for gators. Everybody wants to get a gator tag for Kepler. And you almost have 100% likelihood of getting a gator. Even I got one. So, excuse me. So, yeah, I got in a lot of trouble one time because we had a deer lease up next to it. Me and my buddies would just go down there, and we found a sandbar, and we would just go and play football out in the water, play tackle football. It was freaking cool in 6 inches of water. It was so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad ripped me. He was like, "There's alligators everywhere." And I never saw one out there then. But
I mean, a group of dudes splashing and running around, gators ain't coming out there.
That sounds really weird. But yeah, a group of dudes just swimming, just
frolicking
just
together,
having a good old time out there together. Yeah, it sounds weird. But yeah, I don't think an alligator would eat us.
No.
Unless they smelt the pigskin.
The only story I've ever heard, like a personal.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. We're playing football, pigskin, alligator smelled the pigskin. All right, continue. Sorry, it's on me.
No, I got a buddy in South Louisiana that got bit. So that they had a gator farm, and he was sitting. They had like some crawfish ponds, and I think he said he was just sitting there fishing or something. But little 6-foot gator just popped up right in front of him. He had his white stripping boots on, right?
Yeah, dude.
And said just popped up, grabbed his boot, and snatched him into the water. He had to go to the hospital because of he barely even has a scar, but it.
He barely even has a scar. He got bit by an alligator, Jordan, and
again,
got pulled off into the water. We're just acting like it's okay.
He did. Yeah, had to go to the hospital again. I keep talking about bacteria, but they're nasty animals.
Yeah,
you've got to go to the hospital if you get bit by a gator.
And you just act like you're like, he barely has a scar. You told a story about somebody getting bit by an alligator. You finished it with, he barely has a scar.
Like I said, I don't know why they don't bother me, but they don't bother me.
They bother me.
You tell me that there might be a snake, on edge.
Snakes are mean, though. Snakes are meaner.
Hate them.
They're mean. And they can be.
I still have nightmares from this year when me and Pro Tip were going, and I'm not kidding you. My pant leg had to hit this snake in the face as I walked by. That's how close I was.
How did it hit him in the face? Show me how it hit him in the face.
You're already going to cut that into a reel. So.
No, show me one more time.
I'm good.
I didn't get it. Dang it. Yeah, hate snakes. Don't like them. So, switching gears here. Can we switch gears? Switch the gear. Thank you. So, with looking up the running of dogs and all that stuff, I just pulled up the Louisiana hunting regulations.
You didn't tell me I was going back into first.
Okay. Yeah, no, I don't want to talk about hunting dogs or running dogs anymore. But I pulled up the hunting regulations, the hunting regs. Okay. Did you know? I just found some interesting stuff. Okay.
Okay.
Did you know
Louisiana regs we're talking about? Okay.
Did you know there's a season for crows? Which I've known this because I have a game warden uncle, but not a lot of people know this.
No.
There's a season for crows.
I thought that they were a nuisance.
Okay. Now, I'm about to give everybody some pro tips, so buckle up. All right? For a little off-season shoot. You want to have a little fun? Here you go. Season for crows, blackbirds, cowbirds, and grackles, whatever a grackle is.
I didn't know you could shoot cowbirds.
Pop. I honestly didn't know you could shoot cowbirds. Blackbirds, crows. Here we go. Season, September 1st to January 1st. Then it says, see exception below for depredation. Is that the word? Depredation?
Sounds right.
Thank you. All right, so the daily limit of crows is no limit. Just smoke them if you got them. Exceptions. Crows, blackbirds, cowbirds, and grackles may be taken year-round during legal shooting hours if they are depredating or about to depredate upon ornamentals or shade trees.
So anyway.
Agriculture crops, livestock, wildlife, or when concentrated in such numbers as to cause a health hazard.
So if they're alive in Louisiana, they fall under some category.
Unless they light in the water. I think that was like the only thing that they didn't put in there. You ever seen a crow in the water?
There might be. Maybe there's ornamental hydrangeas in the water.
It's pretty nuts. Like basically, if you get a ticket for shooting crows, that game warden hates you.
Yeah,
he is so mad at
yeah.
something. Might not be something. You. Might be having a bad day, and he writes you a ticket for shooting a crow.
Happens.
You're having the worst day ever. Because I mean, legitimately, it says shade trees, agriculture crops, which you may or may not have, livestock, you may or may not have. Wildlife, you could be like, I saw a rat. It's wildlife.
Saving his life.
Saving that rat's life. Or when concentrated in such numbers as to cause a health hazard. It used to say if you were in fear of West Nile, when West Nile was.
Well, I was about to say avian flu, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Scared to death. There's 10 of them. Scared.
Mm-hmm. Like if you were scared of West Nile, you could just be like, oh
That's
no.
why I went and picked it up and I have a pile of them dead right here. So I'm scared of the avian flu.
Oh no, a bird. Have you ever killed a crow? You ever been crow hunting?
Never been crow hunting. I've killed crows. I've never been crow hunting.
It's pretty sad, but we got real deep in the crow hunt game one year. We had like...
Tells you how bad the duck hunting was.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is like a spring thing. You're bored. You just want to go to the camp. We had an electric call.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Foxborough, we had one.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
I saw it. So our old lease, duck lease in Plain Dealing, was so bad that somewhere around 7 o'clock we would get bored and put the Fox Pro on top of the blind
And just get ready.
and just get ready for the crows to come in.
I
Yeah.
love that.
Mhm.
Just mollywop them. That's not a bad tactic. We did that, and then I had a crow call with my hand, and then no big deal, calling by mouth. It's kind of a talent of mine.
Oh, you made me slap myself in the face. You are absolutely
All right, here we go.
crow
You ready?
calling. Here we go.
I have to act
Pause.
like a crow. I have to act like a crow.
I want double proof of this.
Okay.
I want
all
two
right.
angles.
I'm not scared because it's worked, and you can ask friends this has worked. All right? You ready? What do you think?
I'll give it a. I don't know because I can't really.
This is what I imagine people that smoke for like a living. This is what it feels like. Hurts right here.
I can't do it, so I don't know that.
It's pretty good.
I'll give it a. I'll give it a 10 out of 10.
I feel like there should be. We should hold the very first crow calling championship.
I want to try, but I'm not gonna have the first time that I ever try. in my
Don't
life
don't
be
do it on air. No. Do it in your
So,
truck. Do it in
yeah.
your truck.
I'm gonna
where
practice.
You can have a little pride if you screw up.
Uh-huh.
You can save your pride.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you screw up right here, I would be embarrassing. It'd be pretty bad. I mean, I didn't just wake up one day able to call like that, guy. So don't get down on yourself.
Take practice,
Don't get down on yourself if you can't call a crow like me.
dedication.
This has been the most up and down podcast of all time, but here we are. No, yeah, my uncle can do it, and it's incredible. We smoked I think it was like 10
I'm starting
or
to think you don't actually have an uncle who's game warden.
he hates me. He absolutely hates me. All he does is text me. He won't answer my calls. It's unreal. So,
Yeah, it's amazing. Every time I come over, I'm like, "Oh, hey, call your game warden uncle and see if this sign's okay to have
Yeah.
on the wall." And magically, he doesn't answer. I don't think he exists
that's not. I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and try to defend that because
because you cannot
I can't
prove to me
it.
you can't.
Can't prove it at this point. It's
Nope.
pretty sad. Man. Besides that, I had a leaky waiter, but we've gone. I'm gonna save it for next time.
Yeah,
Honest, let's just say our leaky waiter is that hunting season is ending.
Mm-hmm.
But positive, Nick Andrews from
This
the Hunting
whole
Public.
season has been a leaky waiter
Yeah,
for
it
me.
sucked. It's kind of sucked. Nick Andrews from Hunting Public's coming on here soon.
Give us a rundown of. I doubt they had a bad season.
Yeah, I know he had a great season. We have Todd Wooden coming on soon. When I'll probably record it this week. I don't know. When he went to the ATA show, and it's pretty sweet archery trade show. A lot of cool things to talk about with
We
him.
might go record from the ATA next year.
It'd be sick. And then who else? Oh, Travis. We're recording that this Thursday, so that'll be next week's episode. And if you ain't ever met Travis, if you've only been listening to the podcast and you haven't seen his videos on TikTok, Instagram, or YouTube or whatever, you're in for a treat.
Oh, you are. Travis is a fan fave.
He's a fan fave. So
Wait, what about? There's one more, or is that one a secret for now?
probably.
The one who you got the president's contact information.
Oh, yeah.
the company.
Dimmer box
Okay.
coming soon, too. Yeah,
Yeah.
Dimmer box. I'd forgotten about that. Yeah, that hopefully is getting done in the next week, too. So
It's a good
if
one.
you don't have a dimmer box and you want something for Mardi Gras season,
Then what are you
especially,
doing with
if
your
you-
life?
Yeah, if you live in Louisiana and you want a speaker for Mardi Gras, honest to God, like that's what I would get. And if you're listening this far in the podcast, I do want to say this right now.
That.
I know.
Congratulations.
First off, yeah, we love you.
And thank you.
But if I review a product and I say it's good, it's good. I'm worried that I'm doing way too many good reviews and people are thinking all he ever does is post good ones. I'm not going to post one about a bad one. I don't want to do that. I don't want to be the guy that's like, don't buy this.
Doesn't mean there hadn't been bad products. We just don't post reviews of it.
Exactly. Like I've got a cell camera right now that I hate. I have two brands
tell me
now
about it.
that are on my crap
Spy
list.
Point made the mistake of sending me a survey the other day, and boy, did I fill it out.
Yeah, I just don't like talking about it. I don't want to be the guy that's negative about any brand because you never know. It might have gotten a lemon or they might change or whatever. So, but I will tell you what I use and what works, and the dimmer box is sweet. So I'd get a dimmer box for Mardi Gras season for sure.
Oh, new sponsor coming up too. I guess we'll wait. We'll do
Yes, sir.
an unboxing video to kind of announce it.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Besides that, hope your season's going better. Make sure that you subscribe to the YouTube. You like this, we would love that. We
Go
would
listen.
love if you liked. Yeah,
We'd like it if you loved.
that's right. Go follow us on Instagram, TikTok, all that stuff. Go check us out. We appreciate y'all listening. I hope you have a great week. Stay safe out there. Don't forget to.
Oh, I was just,
No, I'm not doing. Don't. I know what you're doing. Don't forget to tell us your opinion on running dogs.
Oh, I'm sure people will have already given us.
Can't wait.
I'm going to be put on blast. I already know it, and I can't wait.
Can't wait.
Gloves are off. But since Tyler hasn't been,
Watch a video YouTube today, which isn't as good. You should go to church for the community involvement.
half counts. You can tell Jesus one day, hey, I watched you on YouTube.
Yeah. Go to church.
Go to church.
Stole it.